Before we get too far in our study of the propositional calculus, we have some linguistic considerations to address. We're studying logic, which could be considered a language, and we want to be logical in our study of logic. We don't want to be irrational. But this brings up an interesting question. How can one logically study logic using logic? Self-reference can be very dangerous for formal systems. Look no further than the sentence, "This sentence is false." Stephen Cole-Claney gives us a very interesting solution to this dilemma by saying that instead we simply have two languages. We have the propositional calculus, which we are studying, and since it is the object of our study, we will call it the object language. We are the observers in this study, and so we also have an observer language. And in this case, our observer language is primarily English, augmented with certain mathematical symbols. This also means that we actually have two kinds of theorems. We have theorems in the propositional calculus, and we have meta-theorems in the observer language about the propositional calculus. In summary, in our study of logic, we have two languages. We have the language of the propositional calculus that we are studying, and we have the language we are using to study it, which means we also have two kinds of theorems. We have theorems written in the propositional calculus, and we have theorems written in our observer language about the propositional calculus. As an example of a theorem in the propositional calculus, we may have something like P implies P. Every symbol in this statement belongs to the propositional calculus. But as an example of a meta-theorem, in the observer language, we might have something like A implies A. These symbols do not belong to the propositional calculus, but merely talk about it. But this distinction may make more sense as we go on.